Muchas gracias a Juan, Eduardo y Ignacio por la organización. Yo prefiero hablar en inglés. Yo he escrito mi contribución en inglés, so yo voy a hablar en inglés. I lift up a gauge which was from Jacob Fink, who in his book on Aristotelian causes in Suarez, in his introduction says the following: comparing the metaphysical disputations to the De Anima commentary and other works, thus remains a prospect for future research into Suarez on Aristotelian causality. The end of quote. What I did in my paper, let's say, interconnected metaphysical disputations with De Anima commentary, even though the metaphysical disputations were written 25 years later than the Anima commentary. But in the Anima commentary, we can find a lot of references to other commentaries on Aristotle in Suarez. Salvador Castellote says in his introductions to the critical editions of commentary, La producción filosófica de Suárez, realizada en los años de su docencia en Segovia. Durante este periodo compuso Suárez sus tratados filosóficos, comentarios casi todos a las obras del Estagirita, y que han quedado inéditos. Si exceptuamos su curso de Anima, publicado póstumamente por el Baltasar Álvarez en León, 1621. La existencia de estos tratados filosóficos ha sido atestiguada por el mismo Suárez, quien en su tratado de Anima cita en varias ocasiones los siguientes: Per Hermeneas, Libri Posteriorum, Libri Physicorum, Libri Predicamentorum de Celo, Degenerazione et Corruptione y posiblemente una metafísica. Además, por crítica externa, sabemos que esta era la práctica de la docencia filosófica en las cátedras universitarias de la época. The end of quote. In my paper, I focus on two claims in Suarez de Anima commentary regarding cognitive acts, regarding principles of cognitive acts, and regarding the endpoint, terminus of cognitive act. And these claims are the following. In Fifth Disputations, question 4, Suarez says, while the total instrumental cause is the cognitive power informed by an impressed species, species impressa, the principal cause is the soul. He refers Suarez to the second Aristotle's second definitions of the soul, that the soul is the intrinsic principle of all vital operations, as is well known. The first is the definitions regarding formal cause. The soul is the formal cause. The second claim, the second statement, comes from Fifth Disputations, question 5, and regards the end point of cognitive act. It says, a mental word, verbum mentis, or something proportional, idolum in the case of senses, is produced by every cognitive action. This word is formally and really nothing else than the act of cognition itself, insofar as it is a categorical quality. Nevertheless, it is modally distinguished from the cognitive act insofar as it is a production. This is why a mental word, verbum mentis, is not posited from the lack of an object, but from the very nature of cognition. I was motivated by this relationship between, metaphysical disputations and the Anima commentary. And there are a couple of, let's say, statements and judgments regarding this relationship in contemporary literature. Ted Schmaltz, Denis Deschamps, for instance, stated they adduce examples showing that Suarez moved in their views in various questions. For instance, divisibility of the soul of perfect animals is one of the examples. The second is the role of phantasms in productions of intelligible species, is the second example mentioned by Ted Schmaltz. Marilyn Rosemond says that it is also the case with the efficient causality of the soul. I quote from her Unity in the Multiplicity of Suarez Soul, published in the Philosophy of Francisco Suarez in Oxford by Oxford University Press. An interesting question arises about the relationship of this account. It means the account of the proximate causal influence of the soul from Metaphysical Disputations 18, section 5, to what we saw in Suarez de Anima, where he relied on the rootedness of the faculties in the soul, without, to my knowledge, offering a direct causal role for the soul. Suarez's account in his De Anima could be the kind of account that he criticized as inadequate in Metaphysical Disputations 18, section 5, the end of quote. I argue that Suarez is, let's say, following on this opinion, that he does not criticize this opinion in the Anima commentary. On the other hand, he expands, he extends this view, and he develops this view significantly, comparatively to the Anima commentary. In principle, in Metaphysical Disputations, one of the, let's say, developments which helps the reader to understand what Suarez says in the Anima commentary is his distributions, classifications of various kinds of causes. You know, 1 minute, okay. So I don't have time to go into this various kinds of causes, quote, substantial and accidental causes. What is interesting in Metaphysical Disputations is Suarez's critique of Thomistic view, which denies this direct causal role of efficient causality of the soul. You know, and he employs the same argument which are employed in the Anima commentary. You know, that in vital acts the soul's proximate causal influx is necessary. You know, it's a priori argument. Vital operations have to be distinguished from non-vital, and a posterior arguments, especially from the phenomenon of attention. Attention is important phenomenon in the Anima commentary for Suarez. Regarding cognitive acts as the endpoint and as the, we should turn our attentions to the passages where Suarez defines efficient cause, which proceeds by means of action. Action is an important concept for Suarez. Action is a mode of the endpoint. Endpoint is a cognitive act as a quality, and cognitive act as becoming, as via, as way, is this action. You know, so he develops this claim from the Anima commentary in 48 disputations and also in other disputations devoted to causality. So my claim is that conclusion, as stated by scholars, efficient causality becomes certainly the model of causality in Suarez's Metaphysical Disputations, even though, of course, he keeps formal causality, he keeps a final causality in certain contexts. In its ontological core concept, efficient causality abstracts from the material conditions connected with the causality of physical motion. Considering Suarez's univocalizations of the concept of being and his statement that causality as quasi-transcendental property of being, it is not surprising to see Suarez laying emphasis on the univocal character of causality as well. This is manifested in his formulations of the minimal conceptual content, which is applicable not only to divine and created transitive, transient operations, but to a certain large degree also to created immanent actions and immanent operations. Thank you very much.